My name is Lucinda, and I have an 11-year-old Mustang named Te Amo. We live in Arizona, and I'm here to talk a little bit about the amazing product, Ulcer Defense. I adopted Te Amo in 2018, and he was a very difficult Mustang to adopt. I mean, even when I adopted him, and to gentle, very, very reactive, very scared, even beyond the typical wild horse. I spent 5 years, 6 years doing every kind of training I could, and I found that Te Amo could learn things and progress in his training, but I would call him my 51st dates horse because every day I would go back out to get him. It was like starting over, teaching him how to connect with a human, maybe even taking me an hour to catch him. So for a long time, I just thought he was just really wild, and that maybe it was his personality, or that I needed to do some different training with him. Because as I said, even though we would progress in the things he knew how to do, he would act absolutely terrified of people the next day, myself or anyone else. So it was a little bit frustrating and a little bit discouraging. In January of this year, I finally took him to a clinic with a really fantastic Mustang trainer, Mustang expert, Hannah Catalino, and learned a lot about the behavioral issues. But Hannah suggested that I try a product called Ulcer Defense. And to be honest, I don't know that I was skeptical, but I had tried other things. So if it hadn't been Hannah recommending it and really saying how she used it with every Mustang she got, and she really saw a difference, I probably would not have tried it. That's part of the reason I want to do this testimonial, just to really encourage people to try it, even if you're skeptical and tried other things. Now, I hadn't necessarily thought it was ulcers with Te Amo because he wasn't a mean horse. He just was a very reactive, very scared horse. So I tried several different herbal like remedies, just with the idea that maybe that would help. I tried him on chia seed. I had him on hay 24 hours a day. He lives in a herd with other horses, has a relatively, not a real stressful life. Tried sulcrophate for him, and nothing made a difference to make me think that he had ulcers. So when Hannah suggested this, I just went ahead and tried it. And I never had him scoped because I thought that would be too stressful for him. And wasn't necessarily convinced it was ulcers anyway. So I finally tried the ulcer defense the beginning of March 2025. And within a couple of days, I noticed a difference, and I kind of couldn't believe it. So I wasn't sure that maybe he was just having a good day. But the differences I started to notice even that quickly, it was just like a softening of his eye. And then instead of always just running away from me, he started out just letting me approach without his body getting really tense and stiff and his head going up in the air, and even snorting sometimes. So that's how it started. He just would be more curious and more soft and just kind of happier looking in his eye. And then the next thing I noticed, this was all within probably 3 weeks. The next thing I noticed was that he actually would walk into a stall. I would feed him in a stall, and he would walk into the stall with me in it. Never, ever, I mean, would I think he would voluntarily go into a small space with a human. So he would walk in, and even if he was a little bit nervous, he would be there and he could connect. And so then I started noticing, just even after a day of training, instead of that 51st dates thing, it's almost like he started enjoying connecting with people, reaching out to people. He lives at a resort where I run the equine facilitated learning program, and he started even getting curious about guests and people that he didn't know. And so the biggest things I noticed was just this relaxation, this peace about him, his willingness to connect with me, his willingness to even come to me. Never thought that would happen. And then just losing all the jumpiness. And the biggest thing was it's just stopped feeling like I'm starting over the next day at the same point in connecting that I was, maybe not exactly how I was when I got him, but where he didn't act like he literally thought I was going to kill him. So the difference in him has been it's just been incredible. It's one of those things that if it works, I'm not going to question it. And that's not even the kind of changes that could have just been in my imagination because I was wanting to see it. He is almost like a different horse and just so much happier. So I highly recommend giving Ulcer Defense a try. It is, in my experience, it is incredible. I will put every new horse I have on it. I'm going to put the rest of my horses on it. The other thing I really loved about Ulcer Defense is that Te Amo eats it up. He knickers for it. Sometimes I think it smells a little strong, but in my experience with it, my horse ate it no problem and licked his bowl, absolutely clean. I've got a move coming up. I'm going to put that on it. And I just think it's one of those things, just give it a try. You might be amazed at how it helps your horse. It is amazing.